Hey everybody, it's Crystal Benford, founder of Zeely Creative, a branding agency for forward thinkers and innovators. Today we are going to get into how to reset your brain to think like a CEO. Okay, so let's talk about how we can reset our minds to think like a CEO. Okay, have you ever felt like you're running around all the time in your business? You could be doing the same thing over and over or different things, but soon realize you're going in circles. As an entrepreneur, solopreneur, or small business owner, we wear so many hats. And sometimes wearing these hats means that it takes away from the one thing that we love most, which is the whole reason why we went into business. Sometimes the busyness takes away our joy, because it seems like we're spending time on everything else that has to do with our business, but not enough time doing what we love. Well, guess what? Believe it or not, we're not alone. There are thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people who have struggled with the same feeling, that same overwhelming feeling. But guess what? Most people who go into business for themselves don't realize that as you grow your business, you also have to change your mindset. It's hard to do one without the other, if not completely impossible. But we have been given the best gift anyone can ask for. And what is that? Our minds. If we can master our mind, which in turn changes our perception, ideology, and thought process, then we've already won the battle. But you have to change the gears from thinking like a small business and to start thinking like a CEO. Okay, so let's get right into it. Here are some quick ways to reset that brain to start thinking like a CEO. The first thing that I would suggest, there is this book called The 5-Second Rule by Mel Robbins. This is a great book, and I would really suggest it to anyone that is trying to move ahead, that's trying to get out of that mundane rut and move ahead. Now, this isn't a plug, but I'm just saying it's a good book. You can get the audio version, you can get it on the Kindle edition, or you can get the real book if you're a paper person. But in short, she teaches you how to count backwards from 5 to 1 to reset your brain from focusing on the wrong thing to immediately snapping your mind into thinking about what's most important and what's most positive. Or not most positive, but what's most important and positive. I'm telling you, it really works, and it has completely helped me. Every time you start thinking small, the same way you've been thinking all along, count backwards from 5. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then think immediately on that next thing, whether it's I need to delegate, or my next step is this, or I see myself here in 5 years. Think on whatever is going to get you to the next level in your business and start you thinking like a CEO. The next thing I would suggest is learn to let go. Now, I know this is easier said than done. That's why it's going to take your mindset to change in order to be successful at this. You never see a CEO trying to do everything. They're great at their job because they know how to let go of tasks that take away from their most important responsibilities by delegating smaller tasks to someone else. And usually they're smart enough to know, I'm going to give this task to somebody that's great at it. So then now you're like a well-oiled machine and a well-oiled engine in a truck moving forward fluidly because everybody is staying in their lanes doing what they're supposed to do. So say it with me. Repeat after me. Say delegate. Okay, now say it again. I need to delegate. Repeat it. All right, good. So guess what? Not only do you have to change your mindset, but you have to learn to let go and accept help. You cannot do everything on your own. This can be one of the hardest things to do because it is your baby. This company that you've built, it's your baby. And some have been doing it on their own for a while. Now look, Although all those CEOs have teams of people that they can pull from, you probably do too. I mean, think about it. If you have your friends or family and they're wanting to help and they're capable of helping, take that help. And if you don't have anyone personally that is in your corner or that's in your circle that can help you, then guess what? Hire a virtual assistant. You can find a virtual assistant from all over the world. And one of the sites that I know for sure, and I know there's a lot of them out there, but one of the sites is Upwork. Upwork.com, and I'll put the link below. But you can find an assistant that meets your financial need to do the things that you need done. And a lot of these virtual assistants, they specialize in some of the tasks that you can delegate. How awesome is that, right? Okay. So moving right along, you might be thinking about the money too, and the money that you'll have to come out of pocket to spend for this virtual assistant. But trust me, think of it as an investment and imagine the amount of work you could get done with a little bit of help and getting back to more of what? The things that you love most. And usually the thing that you love most, the reason why you started the business, is the one thing that's the thing that people are buying. So we want to get back to the product or to the service, whatever you're offering. The next point that I would like to go over is always think ahead. This is one of the biggest mistakes we can make as small business owners, as entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, freelancers. This is one of the biggest mistakes that we can make. And how I know? Because I know people that have made this mistake, but me personally, I made this mistake. I remember when I was an artist and I was singing stuff, I would always be thinking in my now. Even when I'm thinking for the next year or the next 2 years, my thought process was like, oh, next year will look like this. So I would prepare as such. But guess what? Because I was thinking the next years were going to be like now, or I kept my mindset in the now phase, that's what I kept getting year after year. And in the beginning of building Zeely Creative, I did the same thing, and I had to quickly change my mindset to start having a forward thinking mindset and to not think on the now. We should never be in the now except physically, but mentally we should always be thinking of the next step ahead. Okay, that's the one thing we need to do. We can't keep thinking about the current status of our business if we want to evolve. We must always think ahead to the next step, or to the next 2 steps, or the next 5 steps ahead. This is another thing that CEOs do so well. Where there is no vision, people perish. And guess what? So do businesses. So let's start thinking ahead. Thinking only about now is so dangerous and it's not beneficial. Write down your milestones, and I just had to do this myself last year, and I'm going through doing it right now in my business. But write down your milestones and put them on the wall to remind you every day where you're going and what you're working towards. This will not only motivate you, but it will put fire under your behind, honey, to move forward. Listen, shift that mindset from small to big, little to grand, and tall to venti. Okay, that's for you Starbucks lovers out there. Start imagining now what your business will look like down the road. Reset your brain using that 5-second tool, counting backwards from 5. Every time you want to keep your mind fixed on now, count backwards from 5 and immediately think of the next thing, something positive, something that's going to thrust you ahead. Now look, these are steps that you can apply today. But here's the thing, you have to be consistent. And once you're consistent, you will soon be able to see over time that your thinking is unfolding a whole new perception that will positively affect your business and where you're taking it. Okay, are we ready to start? So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now get moving. Okay, I'm so glad you joined me. I hope you enjoyed this. Please leave a message, subscribe to the YouTube channel, like us on Facebook for Zeely Creative, and follow us on Instagram. I hope you enjoyed this. This is Crystal Benford, founder of Zeely Creative. We are a branding agency for forward thinkers and innovators. changing brand design with one story at a time. See you guys next week. Have a good one.